Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. As we all watch the chaos and confusion surrounding the United States withdrawal from Afghanistan, just imagine what it must be like to be a veteran of that war, watching all this in real time. We talk with one such officer who was wounded in Afghanistan and now is a police officer in Bloomfield Township, Jeff Koeck. Hi, Jeff. Thanks so much for doing this. And it goes without saying, although I have to say it, thank you so much for your service and what you did in Afghanistan. Can you talk about your service for a second and your time in Afghanistan?
Yes, absolutely. Good morning, and thanks again for having me. I served in the 173rd Airborne in Afghanistan in 2012, 2013. I was wounded by a pretty large truck bomb that blew up outside the base I was on. Initially, I was hurt, but I was kind of fine. Walked it off, kind of, and then later on, the effects of that started messing with me. So very high blood pressure, lost balance, wound up in the hospital. I had to get a C427 replaced in my neck. Lost some teeth, a couple of brain bleeds. So after about 19 months, here I am.
And is there any residual effects? You're fine now?
Well, I mean, there's going to be residual effects, sure, but it's kind of a new normal. You learn to deal with it.
We wanted to talk to you because of the events in Afghanistan now. You've watched everything unfolding. What are your thoughts?
First, I'd say I'm disgusted and ashamed, truthfully. The pullout, the way that happened, leaving all that equipment, leaving our allies, leaving our citizens, and not to mention those people that helped us, just pulled out and left them naked. Not to mention that now this is, instead of leaving with honor, this is going to be basically a free state for terrorism. So what's the long-lasting effects of this? Is the next generation going to have to go fight my war? What did I spend 19 months in the hospital for? What did my friends not make it home for? Yeah.
Do you feel that way, that this dishonored your service in somehow and the other men and women that served?
Absolutely. I think so. And it's not, and I'd say that this war was pretty mismanaged, between the strict rules of engagement. It's a long list of things that led up to this that I'd say a lot of people are, a lot of guys are, upset about. And again, I'm not going to speak for them. I can speak for myself. That's what I feel about it.
Yeah, I think there is some confusion about what everybody is upset about and what I assume that you're upset about, but you can speak for yourself, as you just said. There is all this talk about we made so many mistakes in the past. It was time to get out. I don't know why people didn't want to get out. It seems to me that most people are saying, no, we should have get out. It's just getting out the right way. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Is that how you feel?
Yes, absolutely. That's how I feel. Again, nobody wants to see the end of a war more than anybody who's ever fought one. Of course I wanted it to end. Of course I wanted guys to come home. But what was the cost of that? We have strategic air bases, like places like Bagram. We were able to, keep bad actors in that region on their toes. Now that's gone. Not to mention how we pulled out. We left our allies naked. So in the future, do you think that our allies are going to have any confidence in us backing them? Or if we need our allies, what are they going to do for us?
Did you work with Afghanis when you were over there?
Yes.
Are you thinking of them now?
Yeah. Obviously there are bad actors. Not everybody's that way. There are a lot of decent people there that are going to be hurt by this. So what are they left with? They either have to kowtow over to the Taliban side, or or flee. What else are they supposed to do?
I want to point out that we're recording this on a Thursday, and what's happening in Afghanistan changes so quickly. I think it's important to point that out. But right
Yes.
now, there are reports of as many as 15,000 Americans left behind
Yes,
in Afghanistan. And
I've heard that report.
yeah, and now they're sending up to 7,000 more men. They pulled out 2,500. They're sending back 7,000 to make up for this. I know it's part of your DNA when you serve that you leave no one behind. And so as you're looking at this, as you're looking as men having to go over again into this situation to try to get people out. I already asked you how you felt about what you're watching on TV, but specifically about that mission that maybe didn't have to happen had they done it the right way. How do you respond to that?
No, absolutely. That is what it is, right? So I think that's a little far-reaching as opposed to coming out the right way. Why these people? Why we had to send guys back? If we just left our people in place in the first place, that's what they're there for. They're there for security. So you pull them out, leave Americans naked, and then you have to send them back again. What kind of message does that show across the world? It shows weakness. It shows incompetence. And that's a very dangerous thing to project to especially people in that region and our allies.
I saw statements coming out from the Pentagon. I saw the Brigadier General put out a statement today trying to console men and women that fought in Afghanistan, trying to assure them that they are that their service was not in vain, that they fought bravely and they helped to change lives. I say that because you talked about a moment ago that you feel somehow that this dishonored your service. What do you want to say to your fellow sisters and brothers that fought in Afghanistan?
I don't really know. I don't really have much to say that they probably aren't already feeling themselves. I'd imagine a lot of them are feeling it pretty much the same way. What my feeling would be, maybe this is going down a different path, but if our military leadership was less concerned with the nonsense that they're pushing, like the critical race theory and the gender studies, and left our military to what it's supposed to be, which is an effective fighting force, I don't know we'd have these problems right now.
Do you think the two really relate?
Yeah, in a sense. We have a mission, right? That's what the military has, right? As a fighting force. And it seemed that was put on the back burner and all this other stuff was pushed. Maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, I'm not there to make those decisions. I'm not there in those meeting rooms, so I don't know. But I could just say that from sitting back and looking from the outside. That's what I think about it.
What is your hope from here on out? I mean, here we are. We're in the middle of this now. It's going to end somehow. What is your hope? What lessons should we learn from this?
It would almost be like we don't learn lessons from anything. From Vietnam and past. It almost seems like the same mistakes repeated over and over again. What to learn from this? I don't know what to say about learning from it. And I'm not a fearful person, right? But what I would say, this is what I'm concerned about, is what the effects are going to be on our next generation. Because every action has a consequence, and what's the consequence going to be of this? I have 7 nieces, right? They're babies now. What's going to happen with their generation? What is their generation going to face? So I have more of a concern than I do for what lessons should be learned from this.
Oh,
if that makes any sense?
It does. And to follow up on that, do you believe, because of what seems to be a foreign relations debacle at this point that's still playing out in real time, that because of this, people will be reluctant to sign up for the armed services?
I don't know about that. The armed services seems to be what people do to get out of, say a place there, that they want to adventure, they want to see things. That's in the human DNA, so I don't know that necessarily would affect the numbers that much.
Right. So you don't believe that's going to happen. Have you talked to other veterans of Afghanistan?
Yes, I have a couple of friends that I speak to on a regular basis. Yes.
Are you all similar in thought? Do you all agree with how you feel about this?
Yeah, for the most part. We haven't had any in the last couple of days. I haven't really had any deep conversations with any of my friends that I was overseas with. But previous to that, yes, we're all on the same page with our thought process on this.
Angry?
Angry? I'd say that's second to embarrassment and shame.
Well, I do appreciate you talking with me today. There's nothing at all that you or any of the men and women that served should be embarrassed about. This does not dishonor your service. What happened? It only dishonors the people that are taking part in this right now. And so thank you so much. I think that that's the worst part for me, is that I think that there are some people out there that feel less about what they did, and they shouldn't. That what you served bravely and you sacrificed, and you're back here now. This has little to do with you. And
yes,
I hope you understand that.
No, absolutely. I do, but the way I see that, is I'm proud of my service. Absolutely am. And it's kind of like one of those things where somebody can, it's kind of like say you're going somewhere and, say your outfit is out of, you got something on your shirt, or you don't look that good, and you know that inside, and you ask somebody how you look, and they say, oh, no, you look fine. You look great. That's what that kind of does. It's like, yes, no, I am proud of my service. Absolutely. But, the end and the closing in this, it can't help but bring a humiliation on us for this. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the time. And again, thanks for serving and for your sacrifice. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Jeff Koeck, veteran of the war in Afghanistan. Still to come on Jersey Matters.
17 months into the pandemic, we've become familiarized with COVID-19, the Delta variant, and next we'll tell you about a new concern that you may not be aware of. Coming up next on Jersey Matters.